Alright, Santana, Black Magic Woman. Awesome song. It's actually one of my father's favorite songs of all time, so this has some meaning right up in here. There's all sorts of emotion going on. But anyway, I'm Finbar from Finbar Bass. Please, if you want some free bass lessons, you can click right down on the YouTube clicker box right down there and get 3 free bass lessons that are not on YouTube at all. So let's roll right into this one. So what he's doing in the intro there is he's playing a slide from the 7th fret of the D string, like that. And then he's hitting the open D string. Then he's hitting the open A and then the open D. Just like that. He does that for 4 times, and then on the last time, or on the 5th time, he does that slide, but instead of hitting the open notes, you're going to hit the 5th fret of the A string, and then the 3rd fret of the E string. So it's going to sound like this. And then you're going to start with the, like that. So what happens there is, you're hitting, you hit the 5th, and then you hit the 3rd, so the 3rd runs into the 5th fret of the A string. So you hit your slide, just like that. So what you're doing is you're in the 3rd, the 5th fret of the A string, and then the 5th fret of the D string, and then back to the 5th fret of the A string. Just like that. And he does that twice, but on the 2nd time he does it, stay right there, and then hit the 5th fret of the D string again and do a little slide up to the 7th fret. Just like that, and that's going to get you back to the 5th fret. So it's going to look like this. And you're going to go to the 5th fret of the A string. And so this measure starts off on the 5th fret of the A string, then you go to the 5th fret of the E string, and then 2 times on the 5th fret of the A string. Yeah, so it sounds like this. Just like that. Then go back to the 5th fret of the E string. So, like that, and then repeat that. And then hit another note on the 5th fret of the A string. So the whole thing sounds like this. One more note on the 5th fret of the A string, then you go back into the 3rd fret of the E string for that pattern. Just like that. And you do that twice, and on the 2nd time you slide again, so it sounds like this. And then there, what you're doing is that's kind of a build. You're gonna hit that 5th fret of the A string, and then you're gonna hit the octave, which is the 7th fret of the G string. And then hit the open A, and then the 5th fret of the A string. So it's gonna sound like this. And you can actually let those octaves ring out. One time, and you don't actually have to mute. Just like that. Now, when he does the lyrics to this song, he does a very bluesy progression, which starts on the 5th fret of the A string. Then you're going to hit the 7th fret of the D string, followed by the 5th fret of the G string. I'm sorry, 2 notes on the 5th fret of the G string. Then you're going to hit 1 note on the 7th fret of the G string, and then back to the 5th fret of the G string. Right there. Now that pattern is going to be the same throughout most of the song, except he just moves it around to different areas. So that's the pattern that you have to remember. Just like that. So he does that twice there, and then he moves it up to the 5th fret of the E string for 2 times. Then back to the 5th fret of the A string for 2. back to the E string for 2. Just like that. So it's going from the 5th fret of the A string to the 5th fret of the E string, back to the 5th fret of the A string. Then you're going to go to the 3rd fret of the E string, do the same pattern for 2 times. Then back to the 5th fret of the A string for 1 time. Then you're going to do the E string again once. Sorry. And then back to the A string for once. So the whole progression is you're going to be on the 5th fret of the A string twice, 5th fret of the E string twice, back to the 5th fret of the A string twice. Then you're going to be going to the 3rd fret of the E string twice. Then you're going to do the 5th fret of the A string once, 5th fret of the E string once, and 5th fret of the A string once. Now, that might sound like a lot to remember, but once you listen to the song and you get the groove down, your hands will just automatically do it. And that's what he's doing for all the lyrics in that song. Now the outro of this song, he's going to do what he did in the intro again. That slide from the 7th fret, he's going to do that 3 times. Then he does this sweet run, which starts on the 7th fret of the G string, going to the 5th fret of the G string, 7th fret, make sure you can see this, 7th fret of the D string, 5th fret of the D string, then 8th fret of the A string, followed by the 7th and the 5th, and then of the A string, and then the 8th of the E string. So what that pattern looks like is this. Then he goes back up to the 5th fret of the A string. So it's just like this. Real simple run, but it sounds great. Just like that. And then when he goes back up to the 5th fret, he's actually going to be playing the 5th fret on the A string, then the 5th fret of the E string. Just like that. And he does that 6 times. Just like that. And that's kind of building right there. Then play the 5th fret of the A string. Open. I'm sorry, not open, but let it ring out the 5th fret of the A string. Then he goes into this interesting little ditty. Make sure you can see it. My fingers. What you're going to be doing then is he hits the 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the E string. Use your pinky for those. Right? Then the 3rd fret of the A string, followed by the 5th fret of the A string. Right? So it's... Then you're going to hit the 2nd fret of the D string. So it looks like this. And then you go back and play it again. And if you want to play the song, you have to learn that riff right there, because he does that no less than 33 times right then and there. Just like that. "33 times. Then, after he's done with that, he's going to go and hit the 3rd fret of the A string, and then the 2nd fret of the A string, and then the open A string. Just like that. And then, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't right. He hits the 3rd, that at the end he does that. But right then, where we're talking about, after the, right after that, he does that 33 times. Then he hits the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the A string, open like I said, and then hits the open D. More of this. Right? And then at the very end, he hits the 3rd, the 2nd, and then open. And that's the end of the song. Right on, Santana, Black Magic Woman. Awesome song, fun bass line to play. Again, I'm Finbar from Finbar Bass. If you want some free bass lessons, please click down on the little YouTube clicker box right below.